This call is being recorded.
Good morning, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester with the Cooking Without Looking TV show podcast. And today we have Jason Roeseke. And Jason is the whole reason I have this podcast. Um, when I was trying to start a podcast, it took me 6 months and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And then Jason, who we'll get to, is visually impaired, but he walked me through. So I always remember that, Jason, and I will never forget it. So thank you so
Wow.
much.
Thank you for making a podcast for visually impaired people. It's meaningful.
Well, thanks. Because most people have never met a person who's visually impaired or blind, or at least that they knew about it. So that was
Right.
one of the reasons, and it's like inviting everyone to the party.
I think people get nervous because they don't know how to treat us and they don't want to make a faux pas, so they avoid us. And so shows like yours show people that you can interact with us. That we're not going to
Right.
be butthurt every time you make a mistake.
Right, exactly. And people get caught up on what to call people, what label
Mhm.
shall we label you? It's like, hey, just use my first name or my last name or both,
That's right. That's right.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Jason.
Um, I have macular degeneration and I have a detached retina in my right eye. And I've been podcasting through all of that, and I don't know, just surviving. I'm not much of a person. I'm, I mean,
Oh,
I
come
work really
on.
hard. I work really hard towards my goals of just bringing more light to the world, more understanding through conversation, more empathy through long form discussions. And that's why I love podcasting. That's why I love your podcast. It's just it's an
Thank you.
uncensored way to get the information out there past people that don't want to stop and look at it exactly right then. You know what I mean? But if we
Right,
can
right.
if we can sneak into the background conversations of people's daily lives through a podcast, then some of that information is going to sink in and it's going to make life better, and people don't even realize that we're doing it to them.
Right, right. It's subliminal. Wow, look at what they're talking
Exactly.
about.
Exactly. And I see your hacks every day on Twitter and I love them. So you're spreading information that helps me because my whole journey in food has been making mistakes and then realizing that's a mistake and adjusting and then saying this is what I need to eat, but then, oh shoot, can I just eat this once and then so
Well, you were saying in your email that you've changed your way of eating. Tell us a little bit about that.
I really have. I have type 2 diabetes, and getting to the doctor as a blind person is a real hassle. And then when you have diabetes, you have to go to the doctor, but then you have to go to get your blood drawn, and then you have to go back to the doctor. So it's 3 trips that I can't do on my own. So that's tough. So I decided to try and battle diabetes through better nutrition. So
Mm-hmm.
water, fiber, um, so salad. I've eaten salad every day for a month, and it sounds so boring.
You can make salads like a lot of fun. People don't realize that
Yeah,
they have this, salad 101 thought stuck in their brain. And you can
right.
throw, what's your favorite thing to throw on your salad?
Oh my gosh, I've found goat cheese because
Yes.
you need a lot less dressing with goat cheese, and goat cheese isn't a carb, and so it fits in really nice. It's not a how do you say it, manufactured cheese, you know?
Right, right,
So
right.
it's a fresh ingredient. And then I don't sometimes I put not ramen, the lo mein noodles on there. I really like the crunch of that.
Sure.
And then I don't have the, carb the carbs from the croutons and stuff. But I just found they have salad mixes with berries and nuts, and so I don't know. Last time I was on your show, I was like, I'm all about the dough. I love dough. This is what I do with dough. And now I'm like, I just love. I'm not a professional cook or anything, but that's why I love your show, is because I can pick up tips for me specifically, being a blind person. But I I don't cook as much. I don't cook as much, and I'm not quite. I don't know. I'm trying to adjust my body and getting back to basics so that I can then add what I want and then see how that affects me.
Well, of course, and the way it sounds like with you and your goat cheese, it sounds like when they take your blood test, it probably comes up positive for goat cheese.
Well, they said
Wow,
my
he's goat cheese
cholesterol is
positive.
fine. He's she's positive with a little garlic on the side. Yes,
There you
but it's
go.
hard. It's hard for people to understand that when people think of sugar, they think of maple syrup or cane sugar. They don't think about the processed foods. Like a light food, they take the sugar out, but then they put a carb in to replace it and call it lighter. But the carb is what affects me. So it's not lighter for me, or other people with
Right, right,
diabetes. Or a waffle is sugar. Your body calls a waffle sugar. We call it a waffle.
right.
A potato is nice and it tastes really good, but wow, that your body calls that sugar. So learning that stuff
I
is
know.
is hard. And then learning that and eating around other people is really difficult because they don't know what a sugar is. So
No. Well, what sparked your change? What got you to start changing?
it was just my blood sugars. My blood sugars were out of control. That affected my lo- long-term high sugar levels will affect your innards in ways that you couldn't imagine. And so when parts of your body start swelling shut, you learn you need to eat better.
Wow, I never thought about that. Body parts
Yeah.
swelling shut. There's a
Yeah.
visual there.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I don't want to be graphic, but I still want to impress upon people the situations that can happen if you let long-term health issues go longer, you know?
Yeah, my father had diabetes, and he was able to, just with his diet, because he had
Mhm.
he had the insulin and everything. He was like very, very dedicated to his diet, and it was like four
Right.
ounces of everything. And he lost 100 pounds, did not have to take insulin, and they were not able to detect the diabetes on him after all of this. But it was just a matter of changing his eating habits.
That's right. If you think about it, if you put a pound of sugar in you and nothing else, then you're going to be sugar. But if you put a pound of sugar but 3 pounds of water and 4 pounds of fiber, it's a different scenario, and you test less and things get flushed out faster. You can do a lot by changing your diet.
Really can. And even without the exercise, but I love the exercise too, just because I like going outside. I don't necessarily
Mhm.
I haven't gone to the gym in a long time, but I like running and walking and stuff like that. And you do feel better. It's all like natural things that are free,
Yeah.
actually.
Right. Running is like the the wheel, the handle that pushes things through your body. You can put things in, but they won't come out as fast unless you actually move your body. like you know
I
and so
know.
it takes all of that together. But I think the real issue is people say it doesn't work because who's going to eat salad for a month to get back to their basic, you know what I mean?
Well, if you make it fun, it's like if you make anything fun, and you can have
Mhm.
a lot of your fun foods on top of your salad, like whatever meats, even if you like some Genoa
Mm.
salami or something, if you have it in
Right.
little pieces, you still have the taste of that Genoa salami. You don't have to throw a whole roll of salami on your salad.
even
But
even a whole roll of salami is fine till you put it on a bun, and then suddenly that bun says, oh, we're going to keep the salami right here in your body for another day. you know It's the because I put pepperoni and cut up peppercini and red onions and red cabbage in there, So I make it, and what I do is I'll cut up a head of romaine, some cabbage, put tomatoes in there, carrots, radishes, and then I put it in Ziploc bags, and the romaine comes in threes, so I end up making 3 bags. So I told my roommate, please start eating salad because he's overweight, he's obese according to his doctor, and since we've been living together, he's he's been more broke. He's been eating more salad and he's been losing more weight. And that with the water makes him feel so much better and he's doing more things. And so I can not only watch it in myself, but I can watch it in real time in somebody dealing with high blood pressure and obesity.
Right. Well, the obesity often causes the high blood pressure. Like one thing leads to
Mm-hmm.
another, leads to another, leads to another. It's like a domino effect.
Right. But I told him, I said, eat as much salad as you can. And then when you get hungry again, eat what you want. But you won't be eating 2 pounds of whatever you wanted. You'll be eating less. And so by nature, you'll be eating better.
Right,
So
right,
he
exactly.
still gets his Oreos, but he's surprised at how fewer Oreos he wants to eat because he's full of salad.
He's not eating the whole pack. He's down to only one line of the pack.
A sleeve, as we call it.
Pardon me. Sorry for the lack of
Right.
technical knowledge on my part.
But I started with a salad or two every week, and then I got sick of salad, and then went back to it because I don't know, I'm 50, and like things affect your body when you're 50 that don't affect you when you're 20. And so
Right.
it's just coming to the conclusion that some of those things that I did because I was young, I can't do as much because I'm older. And I don't know. I don't go clubbing. I don't go drinking. So I watch my diet and I take care of myself. That's what I'm called. What is it? I'm in a self-involved relationship where I take care of myself as I would have what I would have taken care of somebody else.
Well, you know what?
So
We had a tip the other day, the cooking without looking kitchen hack of the day, and it had to do with salads. And I didn't even know that you were going to be coming on talking about salads.
how
But
did I miss
one
that?
of it was to make a big salad on Sunday, and
Right.
then you put it in airtight containers, a little bit in airtight containers for the rest of the week. And so to stop you from getting all the liquid and everything and the moisture, you on top of that salad in that container, you just take and you put like a bounty or something on top of it and then cover it up, and the moisture will not come in and it will not turn your lettuce brown.
Wow. I thought the moisture was coming from the produce itself. So what I was doing was
Well,
leaving the air in the bag because when I was
oh,
vacuuming it shut, it was getting super slimy. And I still have to look for
ew.
better, like the green bags. But if I left the air in the bag, my salads are lasting. It's gone on 2 weeks for 3 bags, and I'm just reaching the end. So
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah,
right,
whatever works. That was just our tip of the day.
yeah, I
You put
like
like a
that tip.
bit. Yeah.
I
So
need a
what?
I need a airtight container. Yeah, I need to know which containers those are because I'm just using Ziploc bags, and I think that's an
Oh,
inferior way to do it. But I'm at the
I
beginning of my
don't know.
journey, so hey.
Yeah, if it's working for you, it's working. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what what other what other things have you been up to since we've last spoke?
Well, that gets a little darker.
Oh
I,
my
I have
gosh.
I have a podcast, Public Access America, and we're on episode 697. So by next Friday, I believe we should be on episode 700. So we just deal with issues from a human perspective. What we do is we pull issues out of the political scrap heap and then bring them over to our camp and then talk about them as humans. And it's really catching on. People are really starting to understand that we don't have to talk politics. We don't have to translate our
Right.
language through a politician to find out what we can get. We can talk to each other and then tell the politician what to think. And that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm really hoping for. People start
Well,
being civil to each other, you know?
what a thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being
I had
civil.
my, my Trump supporting friend is really proactive on women's rights, which I found surprising. But I, I found a commonality in there because I was researching um, indigenous deaths and how they're disproportionate to other races. And so it caught my eye, and I thought, holy cow, fighting for equality. I messaged him and I said, fighting for equality feels so much better than fighting over politics. And he hearted it. And I was like, oh, we're getting somewhere. It's the words we say. It's what we're connecting on.
Right. And you're always so thoughtful, and you speak on a very deep level, much more than, just the mass thought. You are always very thoughtful in what you say.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And then that's why we started Inspirations Beyond Disabilities, a podcast with a group of blind people that are just discussing blind topics and blind issues. We did a great episode on ADHD, which is surprising because it wasn't a blind topic, but then it came back to visual impairments. We did another episode on music, and it's just we don't have to we don't have to preach about being blind and how people are treating us bad, although we do have stupid things that people say to blind people,
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that
I
stuff.
know.
But
Well, I
there's a real blind community on TikTok. And so meeting them and gathering them into a place to have longer discussions, they really, really like it.
wow, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. A bunch of
It's getting there.
That's really interesting. I guess I haven't really gotten into TikTok very much. It's like there are so many things. There's Clubhouse. There are so
Uh-huh.
many things coming at us that I try and just stay with the regulars. My
Me too.
grandchildren do TikTok, but it's like you can only do so many of these. You get inundated.
Mhm. Yeah, Donald Trump said, "Don't use TikTok," and I was like, "Damn it, now I have to use TikTok." And I got it. And then all of a sudden, this blind person popped up, and I was like, there's somebody like me? And then more and more and more. And then I just, some of these people are so amazing. You know, my friend Kai has a podcast, Unsubscribed, and it just gives us a longer opportunity to let people know some of those things that they're doing that are silly. You don't need to. A big thing is, why are you talking louder to a blind person? I don't know why people do it, but they do it, and every blind person says, "Please stop yelling at me." So it's something to discuss, right? Like, why are you yelling to us? And here's why you don't have to, and here's the way you can communicate with us.
Well, I know I've gotten like when people find out I work with blind people, they will go, "Oh, you must know sign language." No, no, that will not work.
Right, it's called Braille, and I do not.
I was telling someone somebody had a funny something funny that a person had said to them the other day, and I said, people say such funny things before they think, and
Right.
that's it. They just say crazy things. They don't think about what they're saying.
Uh-huh.
You know, why would you use sign language to a person who is blind? You
Because
just have to think
you just
beyond
don't
that.
know. You've never had to think about it, though. You've never had to think about it. I don't know. I would not know how to confront somebody with Down syndrome correctly because I've never had to think about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if there was a podcast where somebody said these are the do's and don'ts, then I would listen to it if I knew somebody with Down syndrome, right? And so
Yep.
that's what my shows are about. We just did an episode about those gymnasts um, testified in court about the Larry
Yes.
Nasser abuse, and I couldn't
Yeah.
get it out of my head, and so I had a friend come and address child sexual abuse, and it became a much broader topic about women valuing themselves and how to get back to that, and then how to protect our children by addressing the offender first. And it was just such a great conversation. And everyone I talked to said, that's too dark. You shouldn't cover that. And I'll tell you, it's already my highest rated show, and it's only been out for 2 days. And I have episodes from 5 years ago, and this is my highest rated episode so far. So I think people want to know how to protect their kids with real information and links on how to go about that and get the beginning of that conversation. But I was so scared that people were going to be like, you shouldn't talk about that.
Well, some of the things that we quote unquote shouldn't talk about are really the things we should. Those girls
Hmm.
went to the authorities and they told
Yeah,
them, and they were just the authorities did nothing about it. They just let it
right.
go. And it went on and on. I guess there were like more than 150 girls who he had
Yeah.
attacked.
There was 100
And
after reported to the FBI. There was over 100. So once it was
wow.
reported, he kept abusing, and he did it with moms in the room. He did it with coaches referring him. He hurt a lot of people beyond the people that, people that trusted him, men and women, moms and dads, not just the gymnasts. But
Right.
wow, you can't watch that testimony and not want to do something. And I couldn't get it out of my head until I addressed it in a meaningful way, you know?
Sure, exactly. I know. And when it comes to blindness, it was like that was the reason we started the show and the podcast, because
Mm.
so many people they make it about, well, what should we call this person? They make it about labels. They make it about
Right,
things you think you should do or you shouldn't do.
right.
It's we're humans. We're all humans, whether we can
Yeah.
see or not.
There's words I think that we shouldn't use, but I also believe that we shouldn't be offended by that first word. I have a friend that's non-binary, and I call them she. I have been for a long time because they're forward-facing female, although they have from time to time male personalities and traits, and they prefer them. And just recently did I start getting that right. But I would always apologize and say, I'm so sorry. It's in my thought. I'm calling everybody they now so that I can do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right. Well, I had a
but
friend
we
who was I'm sorry, go on.
no, I just think we should stop being offended initially.
Because people just don't know, and nobody's,
Yeah,
I think, most of people aren't there to hurt anybody.
you're
Maybe it's
right.
just out of ignorance, or just
Hmm.
I think even ignorance is too strong of a word. It's just like not knowing. If
Ignorance
you're
is
not
not
part of that
knowing.
group,
That
yeah, you just don't know.
uh, ignorance is not knowing. Stupidity is knowing and still doing it. So I
Well,
don't
that's
mind ignorance at all. I love ignorant. I hate stupid.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Well, since you've started this new way of living, what are some of your favorite things to eat? Have you found like a specific recipe, or something you like when you're just jonesing for the old days of what you used to eat?
Oh my
What do you
gosh.
eat?
I told my friend, I was like, if you find out that I'm dying, before you kill me, let me have a carb. I mean,
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
Part Italian, part German, part French, and part Nordic. I love carbs. It's in my bones to eat them. So I don't. I'll tell you, I found Rebel ice cream. I don't know anything about it. It might be the most popular thing on the planet, but I just found it, and a pint of butter pecan Rebel ice cream has 4 grams of sugar. So, and it's non-gluten, it's non-dairy, it's non-everything. It's as pure as can be, and it isn't as sweet as your ice creams, what they're calling ice cream flavored stuff now, like Breyers. It's just all natural, like they use sugar cane water or something, but it's great. I mean, it helps me when I have my sugar crush. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Well, like they used to have like instead of ice cream, they had ice milk. Is it something similar to that?
Like, it might be. It might be. I'll tell you, the first I got some peanut butter fudge, whatever flavor they had, and it was like trying to eat astronaut ice cream with a spoon. I don't know
Oh,
if you. I'm old, so we used to love astronaut ice cream, which was just styrofoam, flavored styrofoam, you know?
flavored styrofoam. Yum.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. And then, yeah, so, but then the strawberry was soft, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just the way it was delivered. So I would recommend Rebel ice cream if you're watching your sugar, but still want something sweet, and still don't eat the entire pint at once.
Are you saying are you saying rebel ice cream like Rebel?
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, tell you
Yeah.
what. Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say my trick for that is eating my dessert before I'm starving after, like not waiting 4 hours after I eat to have my dessert, like waiting a half hour or an hour, and then I eat less of my dessert. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Makes total sense to me, Jason. Well,
Okay.
could you tell everyone how they can listen to your podcast?
Sure. We are Public Access America. We're on Spotify, Apple, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and Red Circle. Yeah, if you ever want to build a podcast and create an audience and earn incentives while you do it, Red Circle might be the way to go. And we're on Twitter at Public Access Pod, Instagram at Public Access America, and YouTube, where you can hear our live streams noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Public Access America.
Cool. And if anyone wants to reach out to you personally, is there a way that they can do that or just listen to you on your podcast?
You can message me on Twitter at Public Access Pod or Instagram. I have a Snapchat, Jason Anthony 850. If you have any, what I'm really looking for, if people could tell me, what do you eat for breakfast that isn't full of sugar? Because I cannot find a breakfast to eat. You know, I don't want to go paleo and eat nuts and berries for breakfast. I want something substantial, but I don't want it full of carbs per se. So if anybody has a trick of how to eat breakfast clean, I would really love that.
Well, that sounds great to me. Thank you so much for being with us on our Cooking Without Looking podcast today. Jason Roeseke, Public Access Radio. And
Public Access America? Yeah.
sorry about that, Public Access America. And this has been Renee Rentmeester, the Cooking Without Looking TV show podcast, changing the way we see blindness. Reach out to us at www.cookingwithoutlooking.tv.wordpress.com. Thank you again, Jason.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.